I want to talk about third-party payments. That is another big change in law. Today, you know, to establish qualifying income, there are standards of practice, there's the state law, there are multiple, there's a great deal of case law with regard to this whole area. But what has changed is you've never been required to accept a guarantor. You know the difference between a guarantor and a cosigner, right?
No.
Okay, this is important because come January 1, or actually come tonight, you will. A guarantor is somebody else. It can be a foundation, an individual, it can be a grandparent, a parent, it can be a good friend who says, I will guarantee the payment of rent, period, for applicant Ron Kingston. They have no right of occupancy. Flip side, cosigner. They will make that same agreement, but they have the right of occupancy. And you have not gone through to qualify them otherwise. That's why I always have said, stay away from co-signing agreements. Always. It does not enter your discussion, your language, anything about it. You just want to be absolute. Now that you have to accept a guarantor, what must the guarantor do? Every month, the guarantor says, I will help Ron Kingston pay for rent this month, December 1, and January 1, signs it, has to sign a form saying they acknowledge that they're a guarantor, that they have no right of occupancy, and you are not required to, if that guarantor is only here for the first month, okay? What can you do? What about the second, the third, the fourth month? What happens if the guarantor says, I can't be there month 2, 3, 4, 5? What can you do? You can say one word, no. You can be compassionate as you want, but you can't be compelled to rent to me just because I have the first month and security deposit and everything else seems to check out okay. You want to know about the future, the ability to pay future rent, right? When you're looking at a person and you're saying it's $1,200 a month for this rental unit, do you just say, you just told me that you were released from your job, you have enough money, or you just quit your job, you have enough money for this month, but what about the subsequent months? You can establish that, just like with this new law. You can, this agreement must be signed by the guarantor, and there's a specific paragraph, we cite it in your paper. You can now, once again, part of your homework assignments, this comes up, these sentences must go into your contracts to protect you. Not anybody else, but you. You want to make sure that you know how to qualify the tenant. You want to know what the guarantor has to sign, execute, and deliver the acknowledgement of the performance and payment, and as we described, that they have no right of occupancy. But it's and what about if you have a federal assistance payment? Section 8, a VASH doesn't apply. This law is very, very specific. You can't be compelled, as of right now, as a result of this law, that just because that is a person receiving Section 8, that you must accept that Section 8 payment, that VASH payment. the veterans payment. So you want to look at that. What about a foundation? It doesn't make any difference if it's a foundation or a friend guaranteeing the payment. Doesn't make any difference. It shouldn't make any difference to you. The difference is sustainable payment of rent during a term. You rent for 6 months, you lease for a year, whatever that number is, you work that into your evaluation. It must be a non-discriminatory. In other words, whatever applies to this person applies to everybody else paying rent in subsequent applications to pay rent. So that's a very important part. There are some nuanced differences about you have a 221D4 type loan or these types of federal loans. What about the performance, etc.? It's so, I doubt if people here are really involved in those types of federal loan programs, so we don't need to go into this. What I'm trying to do is cover as much territory as we can, so you get a handle on the major changes involved.